run at the moment. She won in a 4-share sprint race at Barber last weekend. The girl from Indiana walked out. She's in the hatch colours and she's racing for Campos Racing. But great skip in her step right now.
I love that. And so, you know, you can see behind us the grid is empty right now, but the women were getting in their car, getting prepped. There was an umbrella in the, over the car just to keep the drivers.
The first session of the day kicked off with a 30-minute qualifying session, which would set the grid for both race 1 and race 2 of round 2 of F1 Academy in Miami. All 16 drivers were quick off the mark, pushing to the limits on the streets of Miami. Bianca Bustamante, Maya Vug, Dorian Pat and Abby Pulling all traded places at the top, but it was Abby Pulling in the Alpine with a superb performance to secure not 1 but 2 pole positions for the weekend. So, nestled in the Sunshine State, the city of Miami hosts F1 Academy this weekend. Famed for its sandy beaches and Art Deco vibe, it can now add F1 Academy to its list of attractions with the Hard Rock Stadium right at its epicenter. A place that definitely knows how to put on a show. So let's take a look at the track that these 16 drivers will be battling it out on. 19 corners are spread around the 5.4-kilometre long anti-clockwise track, complemented by 3 straights. Absolutely spectacular playground for this week's on-track action for F1 Academy. Racing will be getting underway at 2:20 local time. My name is Nikki Shields. Alongside me is Alpine development driver Jordan King. Jordan, it was an absolutely jam-packed qualifying. The drivers were trading places, but we're looking now at Abby Pulling, who pulled it out of the bag with a pole position 6/10 faster than Dorian Pat.
Yeah, she's pulled a few good laps out in qualifying, similar to Pan last week in Jeddah, where she was dominant in qualifying, so they've traded blows with each other. But as we see now, this is why we have a 20-minute delay at the top of the screen. There's cleaning going on. We've got some nice big trucks on circuit with their brushes going. Looks like one of the races earlier on in the weekend has probably had a engine failure, some oil.
Oil on the track. I think it was the Porsche Super Cup support race that happened earlier on. That's going to, well, I don't know. You tell me, how does it affect you as a driver when you're all raring to go and then suddenly things get pushed back and you're just left sitting in the cockpit with nothing to do?
Yeah, it's never ideal. Cockpit normally quite comfortable, seats made for you, so they should be relatively relaxed in there. But yeah, it's never perfect. You go through your pre-race ritual, I suppose you could use a word, or routine. You get yourself ready, mentally prepared, physically prepared. You've warmed up, and now you've got to sit there. So your muscles are going to get cold. You've picked up your adrenaline levels, your focus, and now you've probably got to bring them back down and then pick them back up again. So yeah, definitely throws a spanner in the works. Yeah.
We're looking at the face there of Jess Edgar, British racing driver in the number 17 with the new livery from Amex. This is Maya Vug, who is in the Ferrari. She's a Ferrari driver academy as well. She put in a solid performance in qualifying, but couldn't quite manage to get it on the top spot. She's qualified in P5. That looks fun. Ever done that?
I've been on a jet ski, but not
like that.
Quite good enough to do that, I don't think. I lack quite a bit of talent to do that.
It looks like everyone has been having quite a lot of fun in Miami away from the track as well. There have been so many events going on. They've been really busy. I mean, Susie Wolf, Managing Director of F1 Academy, has been everywhere. She's been doing lots of TV interviews. She was at NASDAQ. There's quite a lot of celebrity guests here as well. It's a busy, busy race. Lots of eyes are on it.
Yeah, well, America does do shows probably best in the world, and you know, Miami's no different. It's a great place to go. I've been there a couple of times myself, as we've got a few terrapins there in the water feature. Don't want to stick
I'm
your
glad
finger
you
near them.
said it. You went for terrapin. I probably would have fumbled there and gone for a small turtle, but
well, at least
I
you didn't say
think
tortoise.
Oh, yeah,
You'd have been
okay.
closer with the turtle. At least it wasn't tortoise, so you know.
Okay, so we've now got cars going out on track, which is a good sign. And what is the plan going to be for this race? So it's a 13 lap. I mean, it's basically a dash to the finish line. There are no pit stops required in this race. So if you do see someone going into the pits, there is likely to be a problem there. But it's our third race of the season. We had 2 races in Jeddah last time out, 56 days ago. So there's been a big old gap since the last race. But they have had testing a couple of weeks ago in Zandvoort. And actually, it was Abby Pulling who, again, was quickest in testing. However, the conditions were very different. It was unfortunately rather wet, so I don't know how useful. I guess time in the car is always relatively useful, but I don't know how much they learned from Zandvoort that they can put into practice here at what is a very tight, twisty and technical street circuit.
Yeah, well, time in the car is the most important thing. You know, practice, practice, and practice. You know, if you don't succeed, try again, so to speak. So getting just laps in the car and more testing. You know, a lot of these drivers have dual campaigns, whether that's in sports cars or endurance. You know, you spoke about Abby, she's doing British Formula 4 as well. So it's just about getting time in the car, and that's where this F1 Academy has been so beneficial, being able to get young drivers in a car, which is the most limiting factor within this sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder that there are 15 drivers in this championship, but we also have a wild card entry. Not at every race, but we do have one at this race, and that's Courtney Crone, American driver. She's normally used to racing in sports cars, but she's going to be here this weekend, putting in her best performance for the home crowd. She did do testing in Zandvoort, so she has had some experience in the car, but it is a very different experience, I think, going from a Lamborghini into a very lightweight single-seater, low horsepower car.
Oh yeah, it's no mean feat what she's got ahead of her this weekend, but rising to the challenge, and I'm sure as it goes on she'll get quicker and quicker and quicker as we just see how much dust is actually on the circuit behind these 2 cars. It's going to change the track conditions quite a bit.
And that's the Charlotte Tilbury car there, and there is the Charlotte Tilbury. She has revolutionised makeup as we know it, which I'm sure you are well aware of.
I know all about it.
Exactly.
You've got loads of it.
But it is amazing to have a sponsor like Charlotte Tilbury. That car just looks absolutely fantastic with the lipsticks covered across Lola Lovenfoss's car. And earlier in the week, actually, they had a Pilates session. All the drivers, press, guests, fans got to go and do a Pilates session on the beach, which is just a really lovely way to kick off race week.
Did you not get the invite?
Well, it was a bit far for me to travel to, but next time I will be there. I was going to quote a move in Pilates, but maybe I shouldn't do, as we are on air. So Hamda Al-Khabizi there, we can see in the Red Bull, put in a solid performance in qualifying. She's going to be starting from P3 on the grid. A huge improvement for her. I think her best qualifying so far this season was a P11. But let's not forget, last season, she was the highest performing driver to return this year. So I'm expecting big things from Hamda Al-Khabizi. Things didn't quite go her way when we were in Jeddah last time out, but she's had 4 wins, 2 pole positions in her F1 Academy history to date. So this could be an exciting race for her. We can see Alice Powell there, Abby Pulling's driver coach alongside, I'm sure sharing some pearls of wisdom, making sure she's okay. Abby Pulling did report, or actually Alice told us that pulling was struggling a little bit yesterday with the heat and the temperature. She wasn't feeling so good, but it's good to see she is looking fighting fit.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers in their training, they will do some heat acclimatization. There's quite a few places in the UK. I've used one at Silverstone myself where you can go in a little chamber, run on a treadmill, cycle on a static bike, and you can turn the heat up, humidity, even take oxygen out of the air a little bit as well for some aerobic fitness. So yeah, there's plenty of things to do to prep yourself for this, but nothing that quite prepares you than just doing the real thing, as we've now got, I think that's the 10-minute lights now coming. Perfect timing, 10 minutes to formation lap, so not so long to wait anymore.
You could see there at the back, obviously Charlotte Tilbury was going to talk to Lola Lovenfoss there, and Susie Wolff is with them. And, you know, Susie Wolff is a managing director of F1 Academy. Huge credit to her for making this happen and having so many eyes on this series. It really is an incredible breeding ground for young racing talent. It's now going to be a pathway up that motorsport ladder into F3, F2, and ultimately F1. And this is all about, you know, you've got to see it to believe it. And also it's an opportunity for these drivers to showcase their skills in a competitive environment. There she is, Susie Wolff, just enjoying herself.
Yeah, I don't think I've quite seen as many people on a grid for a junior formula, so it's impressive that they've managed to get enough interest from the crowd, partners, sponsors, Liberty Media, and everybody involved. It's absolutely packed.
Yeah, it is indeed. And also worth noting that F1 Academy have other initiatives as well. Champions of the Future Academy programme, which is to support young karters up from a grassroots level. And actually the top 3 female drivers in the senior category are then invited into an F1 Academy test at the end of that 2024 season. So it really is on track, but also away from the track as well. Jess Edgar is going to be starting from P10 on the grid. One of the youngest drivers. I think she actually turned 19 since our last race. So a belated happy birthday to her.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, she's got a nice new sponsor for this weekend, American Express. Abby saying her last thank yous to Alice there on the grid. As I think now everyone's feels like it's thinning out, starting to leave. They've all said hello, said goodbye, and we're only a few minutes away now from starting the race.
So Bianca Bustamante there having a chat with her, I'm assuming, engineer. I don't know. What would the kind of conversation be going on here?
Yeah, so probably a bit of a weather check, weather update. You know, that was always something I said, is the wind change direction or track temperature, things like that. A little bit of a strategy call of, right, okay, so turn 1, have we got a couple of ideas of what we want to do, inside versus outside, and you just start to build a bit of a picture in your head so you're not reacting, you're like preempting what might happen.
So Maya Vug there, let's listen to her radio.
You've got a lot of fans here, mate.
Yeah, it's the red.
Exactly.
Well, that's always nice to hear, that you've got the support of the home crowd behind you. A lot of Ferrari fans are going to be backing Maya Vug today, who came out and said that this is her moment. She wants to take a win. She wants to hunt down her first victory. She is second in the championship standings at the moment, but she mentioned that she was struggling for pace a little bit earlier in the season. But this is her first visit to America. She wants to show the crowds what she's got and believes that this could be the race for her. Nuria Marti there in the Tommy Hilfiger sponsored car. The Tommy Hilfiger is here this weekend as well, showing his support for his driver, Nuria Marti. And then this is obviously a big race weekend for Chloe Chambers. For the American Haas team, she's racing on home soil. She did mention that she'd improved a lot in testing, so it just shows that a couple of days, even if it is in the rain, it does make a huge difference, and was thanking her team for all the support that they've given her so far this year.
Yeah, well, in qualifying, she was only 3/10 away from the front row. If you exclude Abby Pulling, much closer. So we now got Nobles here in the Puma car, starting from 8th. Again, she was only a handful of tenths away from the front row. So really actually quite close from 2nd all the way back to 10th pretty much. If you were only 4 or 5 tenths away from actually being right at the front, it was just Abby that showed us a pretty stunning lap to get herself that far ahead of everyone at the front of the field.
Exactly. Nice wave there from Tina Hausman, who joins F1 Academy for the first time this season. Now, all the cars have the sponsors, but they also have the works teams behind. But let's take a look at the starting grid. So it is Courtney Crone in P16, a wild card for the race weekend. Amna Alkabisi in 14th with Emily De Hausch in 13th. Carrie Schreiner in the Kick Sauber car in 12th with American driver Leah Block in 11th. Tina Hausman, Jessica Edgar will be in 10th, British racing driver, and Tina Hausman in the Aston Martin in 9th with Aurelia Nobles in 8th, youngest driver in F1 Academy with Chloe Chambers on home soil in 7th. Maria Marti in the Tommy Hilfiger car in 6th. Maya Vug going for a win this weekend, will be starting from 5th. Bianca Bustamante with her best qualifying performance in P4. Hamna Alkabisi also with her best qualifying performance in P3. Dorian Pat couldn't put it on pole, but she's definitely going to be fighting at the top with Abby Pulling, who will be starting from pole position in this inaugural F1 Academy race here in Miami. So the question is, can Abby Pulling maintain the lead of the race? Because the pace that we've seen from Dorian Pat over the course of this season so far is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, they were the two standout in Saudi all those 50, how many days ago? 50 odd days ago that you said? 56 days ago. So they were the standout two. Again, they've been standout two in qualifying. So looking forward to seeing them chase each other down around this race circuit. But it's much closer this weekend. So can Alkabisi, can Bustamante bring it to them on the run down to turn 1?
So Hamda Alkabisi there, no doubt looking ahead at that first corner, giving us a peace sign, keeping cool under the umbrella. And Bustamante there, also just moments away from the start of this race. So many eyes are on the grid here in F1 Academy now. This is a really huge opportunity for these drivers to showcase the incredible skill that they have and that they've honed in on over the course of this championship. It is, of course, a 7-round championship. We were in Jeddah last time, in Miami this race weekend. And next time we'll be going out to Barcelona, followed by Zandvoort, then Singapore, then Qatar, and we finish up in Abu Dhabi with the F1 finale as well.
So under the 3-minute countdown now, 3 lights left, and there's 2 left. That's 1 minute to go, and then when there's 1, that's 30 seconds. So as soon as it goes to that 1 minute, the engines will start up, the mechanics will give their last shake and pat on the helmet sometimes, take the umbrellas away, and then the drivers are left to their own, sitting there with their engines on idle, waiting for that 30-second, and then all of the lights out to start their formation lap. On their formation lap, they've got to work as hard as they can to get some temperature into the brakes, into the tyres, get themselves ready, mentally ready, focused. You've only got 2 minutes. It doesn't take long to come round, and the race will be underway.
So it's a 13-lap sprint to the finish line. There will be no pit stops, no tyre changes. So what's the strategy going to be? Flat out and furious.
Flat out. Yeah, it's technically, I suppose you could name it a sprint race. It's not an endurance race. No pit stops. It's just flat out. A little bit of tyre wear potentially. Some weight coming out of the car with the fuel coming off. But yeah, it's pretty much flat out. Drive as fast as you can, make up as many places as you can if you're starting towards the back, not be overtaken if you're starting towards the front, and then we'll have 3 standing on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, given the fact that we had a street circuit in Jeddah, we have another street circuit here in Miami, and then later on in the season, a street circuit in Singapore. It's pretty tough for these drivers to get their sort of head around a brand new street circuit in such limited track time.
Yeah, they're probably really looking forward to Barcelona coming in. It's a bit of a breather. You've got a bit of runoff, a bit of safety, and it's a more normal circuit, not being thrown in straight into these street circuits, high-speed street circuits as well, as you can see from this shot here. Walls on the left, walls on the right, no margin for error. So yeah, probably a little bit of a sigh of relief going to Barcelona as the green flag for the formation lap has been flown or turned on.
So yeah, formation lap is underway. Of course, there has been a 20-minute delay to the start of this race. So these 16 drivers are going to be absolutely ready to get going here in Miami. It's going to be in a very exciting race. It's a 30-minute race. And the question is, what is going to happen? Can Dorian Pat challenge Abby Pulling? I mean, Abby Pulling has been really on top form at the moment. But before we get into that, let's hear from one of our drivers who we caught up with earlier in the week.
T1, T11, and the last T16, 17 is a good place for overtaking. It's right after a long straight, so with a slipstream, it's going to be big. I think there is the best overtaking opportunities. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of action. I think this track has a lot of overtaking opportunities.
Let's see how the start is. I mean, if we take a good start, we can have a chance in the first quarter. But yeah, nothing is ending in the first lap, and there is 30 minutes of racing. So yeah, let's see, and I will give everything.
FP2 yesterday, I tapped the wall, so the boys and girls were here late last night fixing some things. I may have moved to the wrong place, but yeah, I can't thank them enough. The car was on rails, and you know, it feels good to be leading the championship, extending it by 4 points as well. Big points later on today.
Well, there we have it. Fighting talk from all of our podium contenders, we should say. It's great to see them really getting into the spirit of this.
It was Al-Khabazi. She was the one saying how much she needs to overtake and where we overtake, so we need to be watching out for her. She sounded like she's the one that wants to be making some moves. But this back straight, you saw how much dust there is. You know, really not the right place for these drivers. Going to pick up all of that dust onto their tyres just when they want maximum amount of grip, but also going to change how they can approach this corner. As you see that flag there, for viewers that don't know what it is, the yellow and orange stripes, it's a slippery surface or debris on the surface flag to warn the drivers. So that will probably be out for a few laps until they've got a feel for how much grip is around those last couple of corners.
So Abby Pulling, a reminder there that she is championship leader at the moment, 11 points ahead of Maya Vug, with Dorian Pant just 1 point behind in 32. But 25 points up for the win here, 18 for P2 and 15 for P3. So they are now lining up on the grid.
So you got the yellow line to the right of the drivers, our left now, well, right, left and right. That's your marker. That's where they'll be pulling up to on the grid, and everyone's now stopped in their grid spot.
So here we have it. We can see the green flag is waved. 16 drivers will have their eyes on those lights. It's lights out and F1 Academy is underway, and Bianca Bustamante hasn't started the race. She has not started the race. It's Abby Pulling who comes down into the lead. She maintains her lead. Dorian Pat is just behind. Amna Al-Khabazi just in position. So does Maya Vug. Everyone is clean and through the first couple of turns, but I'd love to see a replay of the start to see what happened with Bianca Bustamante.
Yeah, Bustamante looked like she stalled. Nobles, to me, looks like she's made the most ground going around the outside of Edgar's. You see it come through there, and now it goes Schreiner trying to attack Leah Block. All still a bit single file now as we come towards the back straight. A little bit of movement in the back. Lovenfoss trying to get past the house, but not much going on. And now this is the long run all the way down to turn 11. We saw in the F1 sprint loads of action here with Hamilton and Magnussen. Will it happen again in F1 Academy?
Absolutely, and of course there is the advantage of getting the toe, so Abby Pulling needs to stay ahead of Dorian Pa just to make sure that she doesn't get the advantage.
So Hausman had to go defensive. Nobles again on the move around the outside. Can she make it stick onto the inside? They both leave good space, potentially a little bit. There was contact.
So big crash there from Tina Hausman into the wall. As we were saying earlier, the confines of this tight, twisty street circuit, that's going to be a huge amount of damage to her car. It doesn't look like she'll be rejoining the race.
Yeah, it looked like they were being very fair to each other on the way in, but on the way out, obviously contact made, no room for error. As is there actually any damage to Nobles' car? But all out front for Abby Pulling, not much pressure coming to last corner. Carrie Schreiner in the background, having to go defensive.
Yeah, Carrie Schreiner there looking to the inside line, but manages to maintain her position. We've got the 88 of Amna Al-Qubaisi there. I'm sure it was Qubaisi and Schreiner who were fighting for positions last time out in Jeddah. So Abby Pulling now.
So Hausman, obviously the biggest loser on that opening lap. Buster Mante's managed to get going again. She's at the back of the field, 9 seconds away from the front, as the house has run wide, going really slow, but managed to get going. Now she will be under pressure as we see the replay of the Hausman incident. So Noble's on the inside, all pretty fair here, bit of gap, but then contact at the second part of the corner and just straight off left into the wall. Not much she could do, but 2 into 1 doesn't go.
No, it definitely does not. Really disappointing there for that moment. But let's remind ourselves of where we're at the moment. So Pulling has already managed to get a 1.2 second gap ahead of Pa. Then Hamda Al-Qubaisi, Vug, Marty, Chambers, Nobles, Edgar, Block, Amna Al-Qubaisi, Schreider, Lovenfoss, Crone, Emily De Hausch, Bustamante, and of course Tina Hausman in the pits.
So Leah Block had a really good opening lap actually. She was up to 8th, starting from 11th. She's now dropped back down. Edgar's got past her, so she's now in 9th, but had a really good opening lap. I didn't quite catch what happened to her, but it'd be nice if we got onboard of her. Liv got a nice replay from this onboard of her opening lap would be good, wouldn't it? But she comes onto the back straight. She's just been overtaken by Jess Edgar in front of her. Really close in the slipstream now, so she's probably going to have a chance into the last corner. Here we go now in the slipstream. Looks like Jess Edgar's actually got a little bit more straight line speed than her, maybe running a little bit less wing. She's going to have a look to the inside, but remember it is dusty off there.
Almost wheel to wheel there between the Tommy Hilfiger and the Ferrari.
Yeah, so Vogue trying to go around the outside has maintained the position. You've got Chambers now catching both of them up, closing up. It could be 3 abreast into turn 1.
So great little, so she looks to the inside line. Maria Marti, she's going to go around the outside now, of Maya Vug. Can't quite manage to keep up the pace of Maya Vug at the moment, but she's fighting hard, really battling round those corners at the moment.
But remember, behind Marty is Chambers, so she'll be looming, ready to pounce if any mistakes. But she's still putting pressure on Vug in front. They've now got the long straight coming up left here. This long left, it tightens up. Really hard braking zone. As you see, Marty fighting the car on the rear. It's moving, moving, moving. Now we're onto a long straight. Not quite straight, a couple of kinks in there. As we see a Hausman on a pit wall with the rest of her team.
Well, good to see that Tina Hausman is out of the car and okay. She's now with her Prema Works team, the team who manage everything behind the scenes. Of course, Aston Martin is just the sponsor. Prema is the team.
So Marty having a look. She's dived to the inside. Does she make it stick? No. Vug leaves the door open a little bit though. There's still nose and tail. We've got a nice tight twisty section now of 13, 14, 15 before the long run down to the back straight. Watch the inside wall, curb on the right, and now you've got to focus on your exit. We've got a nice view here from Chambers. We can watch both of them on the onboard with Nobles closing in behind. It's going to be a 4-way battle pretty soon.
Yeah, they are going nose to tail at the
we
moment.
play hard, we go aggressive, we play hard.
Well, there we are, fighting talk from Marty's team on the radio there, saying, let's go for it.
So he goes to Vog's gone defensive. Marty's looking again up the inside, a double move, but potentially no. Not around the outside, as we've got Alcabazi coming up the inside of block.
Fighting hard there, Leah Block trying to, her ambition was to obviously get some points today. Chloe Chambers currently in P6. What can she do from here?
So Vog's gone defensive, Marty's gone with her, now moving back over to the left to open up turn 1, focusing on the exit. Still nose to tail, you couldn't fit a fag paper, as they used to say in the olden days, between the two of them.
Well, again, just great to see some proper battles on our hands here. Chloe Chambers was feeling very confident coming into this race weekend, saying she'd learned so much during testing. But Nuria Marty, she's been on the podium. She's won here in F1 Academy before, so she is a force to be reckoned with.
She's gone wide, that difficult braking zone. She's lost the rear and gone wide. Marty's now right in her slipstream, got a much better exit. She's going to have to go defensive here.
This is going to be tight. Nuria Marty looks to the inside line there. Can she make up the place? Can she inch her way closer?
Unfortunately, it's going to be on the outside now, coming down to the big braking zone. It's going to be 3 abreast. Which way does Chambers go? She goes to the inside. It is now 3 abreast as they come into brake zone. 2 in 1.
How did Chloe Chambers do that? That is a phenomenal move there. Chloe Chambers moved up into P4. Absolutely fantastic result for her and the team. She's just managed to pull that out of the bag just at the right moment.
Yeah, she was sitting there waiting for a couple laps, pounced right when the time presented it to her, and now Marty still hasn't managed to get past Berg. And now we've got, is it Nobles? Yeah, it is Nobles in the background, closing up on them again. So it's still going to be a 3-way battle, but with Chambers clear out front.
So, yeah, you can already see Chambers is making up a bit of a gap there between her and Vug behind. Marty's now looking to make a move. Is she going to come from the inside? Can she do it? It looks like she can. Nuria Marty moves up into P5 after a great battle between her and Vug. Vug just couldn't find the momentum coming down that long straight. Clearly she got the advantage of the slipstream there, but that is Marty now into P5, and looks like Vug's coming back for more.
Yeah, got slipstream again after the up and under at the last corner. Still in the slipstream though, but I would think now she's going to fall back into the clutches of Nobles behind her, just because her pace has not looked so stunning, and the cars that were behind, that are now in front, do have more pace than her.
So we are 5 laps into a 13-lap race. Pulling is now almost 2 seconds up the road from Dorian Pain, who is trying, the time's come down a little bit there, but Dorian Pain is going to have to improve that performance if she wants to challenge Abby Pulling for the top spot on the podium.
Yeah, we're focusing on all this action here, but not actually be talking about the leaders. But that last lap all stemmed from one mistake there for Vug. She ran a little bit wide, lost the rear, and then had a bad exit and pretty much lost 2 places within 2 straights.
I don't think this battle is over yet, though. So between Chambers, Marty, Vug, and Edgar, and Noble, sorry, it is very close indeed.
Yeah, as much as I said half a lap ago as well. We'll get back to that. Start replay. So look for Bustamante. She jumped off, big launch, but stalled straight away. And actually down into turn 1, we were pretty civilized. A couple of lockups at the front. Abby locked up, Pan locked up, but no harm done.
How frustrating for Bianca Bustamante. How hard is it, or how easy is it, I suppose, to stall these cars off the start line?
Yeah, well, it's something you practice your race starts, so this is the contact again, as Houseman just gets tapped straight into the wall. There'll be quite a lot of damage there, although she did manage to limp back to the pit lane.
Yeah, and of course, a reminder that we've got race 2 again tomorrow, so the team will have a lot of work to do to get it back up and running for tomorrow. There is Tina Houseman out of the car, head in hands, and understandably so.
A helmet stays on, only means one thing: do not approach. Or approach with caution.
Back off.
Oh,
It's a nice way to hide from the
Marty
wild,
going side by side. So after making that move, looked like she challenged on Chambers, run wide, lost the place to Vug, and now under pressure from Nobles. So again, it's all kicking off. Nobles got a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. That'll be that lap 1 incident.
Yeah, and that's actually a reminder. We forgot to mention earlier that Lola Lovenfoss got that 5-second grid penalty from the last time out in Jeddah, which is why she started from P15. She actually qualified in P10. So she's had her work cut out, but she's just moved up to P12.
Yeah, so as I was saying before we went to the replays, I thought this group would start to stretch out, but it hasn't. And we still got Chambers at the front, but not really pulling away, as Marty is now fighting back after that mistake. She's gone to the outside, breaks a little bit earlier than Nobles, going for a little bit of a cut back. She's opened up next corner. It's brave to try and go around the outside there. Houseman did it, ended up badly for her. Now we get into the really tight section. Probably no passing going on here, but she's prepared. She's going for it up the inside of a tight corner before the back straight. Not made it work, but now really tucked up in the situation. You see the dust being kicked off from the Porsches earlier on in the day. To the left, to the right, now to the outside. She's going to pick up the slipstream from the car further down the road, over speed, but on the outside, coming into the final hairpin.
What can she do here? Can she make this move stick? Is she close enough? Has she managed to get the momentum to pass?
She's gone in
her?
deep, she's locked up.
So Nuria Marti has gone wide. Does this give the opportunity to make the pass?
So we've got Jess Edgar closing in. If you're in a battle, the car behind closes right up. So Jess is now going to put Nobles under pressure. Marty's going to have to go defensive here. We're probably going to have a 3 wide. Dives to the outside. Can she make it around the outside? No, not quite. On the curve, gets closed off. They're still going though. These battles just survive so long. One straight, onto the next, onto the next. Don't think there'll be a move into it. It's a really high-speed section now. Left, then right, and then left again. You can get over this inside curve, open the corner up, again over this left curve. You can get over that, into this tricky brake zone that we saw where Vug went off. Was it here from Marty?
You have the pace to be at the front. Just be clever. You have the pace. Calm and be calm.
So Leah Block spun after encouragement to Marty from her engineer. Leah Block spun. She's got going again, but now we need to see the move. Oh, we got the spin. We got the spin. Watch the spin first.
Let's take a look at this replay of Leah Block. What happened here? Just pushing too hard, lost control of the car.
Yeah, I don't think much more exciting than that. Went in a little bit too quick, lost the rear on the way in, and that was that. But we need to see what's happened. We're going
Well,
there you go. They are side by side.
Okay. So Marty still in P6. Nobles right on her tail, wheel to wheel there. Marty pushing so hard. She's definitely got the pace, as her team have confirmed. Nobles needs to be making a pass on Marty at this point.
Didn't get a great exit there. Jess is quite a bit closer behind. Can she have another look on the run down to the last corner? I don't think so this lap. It might be status quo.
Well, it would be a huge, points difference, I suppose, if they could work their way up a little bit further they're all in points finishing positions, but of course, every point counts at this moment in the championship, in the series.
We check our staller off the line, although had a really good qualifying, dropped down to last, as we now see Bustamante up to 10th place. So she's making some really good progress, and there's still a few laps left for her to carry on making the moves. She's got Alcabazi in front of her, so she's going to start applying a pressure now to gain those extra points to damage limitation from her opening to the race.
Yeah, that is a great recovery drive there from Bianca Bustamante, already back in a points scoring position, but let's see what she can do. We're on lap 8 of 13. It's pulling Hamna Alcabizi, Chambers, Vug, Marty, Nobles, Edgar, Amna Alcabizi and Bustamante in the top 10.
So Alcabazi ran wide there through those faster S's, had to go a bit defensive here, but that's compromised their exit. So Bustamante, look how close she is as you come down this straight. It kinks left, it kinks right. She's already gone to the right, so she's going to be on the inside for the first kink, and then on the outside for this long left now. Keeps going. She has got a good momentum, though, going round the outside, longer line. The next corner's a tight left-hander. Can she make it around the outside? Good confidence on the brakes, and she'll do it.
Yeah, this is going to be a brilliant move here for Bianca Bustamante. Can she do it here?
So Alcabazi managed to outbreak her, defended the position really well, didn't overshoot the corner. She's going to have to try again. Left, right, jump over this curb, make sure you get a good exit onto the back straight to defend your position. But Bustamante manages to stay right behind Alcabazi in front.
Yeah, Bianca Bustamante is the 19-year-old Filipino driver. She raced for Prema last season, moved across to ART this season, and
she's got a 5-second penalty as well, Bustamante, so she needs to make some moves. She dives to the inside. That's brave into the last corner. Locks up the inside front on that dust. Does go in a bit deep. Alcabazi gets a cut back. They're now side by side through the kink left, again through the kink right. Fair racing, leaving space. She's still slightly ahead with Bustamante. Now got the inside line for turn 1. Who's the bravest? The late breakers as we go down. Turn 1. Inside for Bustamante, but remember, she has that 5-second penalty, so she needs to get her head down now and push as hard as she can. 4 laps to go.
So Bustamante finally makes that move, and she moves up into P9. But as you mentioned, she's still got a lot of work to do if she wants to finish in the points.
So this is why she got a penalty at the chicane. She's just cut straight over. I'm sure they've deemed she's gained an advantage there.
Yeah, comes out ahead of Lola Lowenfoss in the Charlotte Tilbury car. So there is Carrie Schreiner in the Kick Sauber car, battling it out there, looking quietly confident. She just, well, not in the points at the moment, currently in P12, but let's see what she can do.
Yeah, so the house made her go defensive in front, but actually ran a bit wide herself at the apex. It didn't manage to get the exit, so it's not as close as she'd like to be. But Carrie's gone defensive now, gone to the left, but gone back to the right. She's weaving back to the left again, left, right, really hard defensive now. Houseman goes, the house goes to the outside, tries to go right around the outside, cuts the corner. Oh, that's brave.
Brave, but they both come out the other side untouched, which is a relief. But it is great to see so much wheel-to-wheel racing, so many overtakes already in the course of this race. 4 laps to go, and look at that, Abby pulling 3 seconds ahead of Diane Pan.
Yeah, Abby's shown us, although we've not seen it, she's shown us how to win a race today. Just 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go as she crosses the line. Her pace has been really good, as she showed us in qualifying. Look at the dust as Schreiner goes defensive. The house on the outside, can she make it stick? No. Can she get the up and under? Great defending from Schreiner there.
Yeah, so Schreiner currently in P12 there. Emily de Hausch coming, trying to build that momentum, get the edge that she needs, finds that extra performance, looks to the inside. Is she going to make it? No. So not quite. So Emily de Hausch there, battling it out with Carrie Schreiner.
Schreiner showing us a masterclass on how to defend. Probably needs to look forward, get pushing on so she doesn't have to get defensive, but to the outside again for the house. No, it's really stacking up. We've got a yellow flag out in sector 2.
So Emily de Hausch is actually one of the drivers who's had experience here at this track before with the W Series. So perhaps that little bit of extra experience could give her the edge here over Carrie Schreiner.
So I think that yellow flag was noble. She's dropped down a couple of places, now in 11th. So that's probably where that's come from, as Schreiner's had to go defensive again.
So side by side there, Schreiner and de Hausch playing a bit of game of mouse.
So we're now riding on board with Chloe Chambers on the run down into the last corner. She's in the slipstream of Hannah Alcabazi in front. This is for the podium position, so a couple of laps left. She's pretty close, braking around 120 metres down the gears. Doesn't lock up, nice and tidy. Gets a decent exit now. She's got 3 laps to try and make the move. Can she do it?
Chloe Chambers qualified on P7, so already she's moved up a couple of places into P4, but for a podium position, that would be the icing on the cake.
So Alcabeze went defensive there, but overshot the corner, missed the apex, has got a bad exit as Chambers runs in quite deep, gets a wash and understeer. You've got to look behind though. You could see in her mirrors on the onboard that Vug's coming. Here she is.
Right, let's take a look at how this little battle is going to take place. So Maya Vug at the moment in P5, but very much all over the back of Chloe Chambers.
Yeah, so this is going to be another 3-wide moment if they both get an exit. So Chambers now, good exit on Alcabeze in front. She will have to go defensive to protect the position. Maya Vug riding on board with her, as we can see, at slipstream. To the left goes Alcabeze. Chambers goes even tighter to the left, picks up the dust, is on the inside, but we've got Vug coming down the inside again, 3 abreast. Late braking, gone in deep, and Chambers has picked up both of them. Vug goes in deep, manages to pick up position, but runs off the road, and Alcabeze goes from first in that group to now, well, 4th, because Marty's getting involved.
Unbelievable, Chloe Chambers up to P3 in this race at lap 11. That was a phenomenal move there, passing Vug and Hamna Alcabeze.
It's not over yet, though. It's not over yet. They're coming down, run into the last corner. Still a couple of laps ahead. Alcabeze's gone defensive already. Vug is checking out with Chambers in front. Marty's now gone to the outside, pushing Alcabeze onto the dust. She's staying in the middle. She's going to open the line up, brake on the clean part of the racetrack. Will she make it right around the outside? Oh, that's brave. Gets the door shut right in front of her. Got to try again into turn 1. Still tucked up in the slipstream. If you look at the back of our footage here she comes. Alcabeze goes to the right, defensive. Marty to the outside, side by side on the run down to turn 1. Who can break the latest? Alcabeze can break the latest. And now Bustamante going on Jess Edgar up the inside turn 1. So what a recovery drive for Bustamante, although she has got that 5-second penalty. Marty didn't get the move done, now trying to close up again onto the back of Alcabeze, and the 2 in front have checked out while Vug puts pressure on Chambers.
But at the moment, if you look, Lovenfoss is 5 seconds behind Alcabeze, so Bustamante is in the points at the moment, even if she has a 5-second place penalty.
She'll still pick up 1 point.
Yeah, well, 1
One's
point.
better than none.
Exactly, absolutely. And reminding ourselves of where Abby Pulling is at the moment. Unbelievable. 4 seconds up the road from Dorian Powell, who is 3 seconds ahead of Chloe Chambers. But here we are. So Nerea Marty chasing for Alcabeze for P5 in this race.
So last lap round, we saw more going deeper. Alcabeze's on the inside, manages to get it stopped, defends the position perfectly. Marty can't go around the outside here. We saw what happened on lap 1. Got another long run down to the last corner. Can she focus on getting a good exit? They both recover good track position, get the exit. Remember, it's dusty off lines, we hear from Chambers.
Awesome performance. Come on, Chloe. We just need to keep the position. Come on.
She's been given the encouragement to get that podium position. She is under pressure, though, from Maya Vug, just behind in 4th place. But Marty, only 3/10, 1/10, right behind. They're side by side in the back of our shot. Alcabeze on the inside, Marty on the outside. Gets it stopped, got the cutback. Can she get it on the run? Better traction on the inside through this kink. She's done it as she comes to start the last lap, but Alcabeze is now going to be tucked up right in her slipstream.
This is absolutely phenomenal. So Nerea Marty is currently in P5. We've got Hamna Alcabeze in P6, but what is going to happen? We are now in our final lap, lap 13 of 13. Who is going to take the lead of this race? Well, we know it's Abby Pully, but who is going to take the lead in this battle between Marty and Hamna Alcabeze?
I think that's the move done. She's finally got it done. It took her a couple of laps for Marty, but she's done it. Now this is the next battle, slightly further up the road. Vug trying to get a good run on Chambers in front. A little bit further back, we saw when they were only a couple of tenths, there was a good slipstream. She's now 5 tenths away. It might be a bit too far. Only a couple more overtaking opportunities available for that last spot on the podium. 4 tenths. Watch that current gap, 4 tenths. It's not closing. Slipstream's not working.
Well, we've got about half a lap still to go. What's going to happen between Chloe Chambers and Maya Vug? Maya Vug in the Ferrari livery. She was the first female in the Ferrari Driver Academy program. She set her target for this race weekend to not just be on the podium, but to have a win. But can she be on the podium is the question.
Chambers went in deep through the chicane. She's lost a little bit of lap time. Maya Vug is that bit closer. I still think a little bit too far away in the slipstream. Not quite quick enough down the straight. It's getting shorter. She's running out of time, as we now see from Abby Pulling, rounded the last corner.
Well, this could be everything for Chloe Chambers, but now Abby Pulling at the last corner, a 5-second gap between her and Dorian Pan. She takes the checkered flag for the first time in her F1 Academy history. She's never crossed the finish line first. She inherited the win from Dorian Pan last time out, but this is her first win. It's Pan in P2. Chambers takes P3, her first podium in F1 Academy in front of a home crowd. And it's Maya Vug in P4, Marty P5, Hamna Alcabizi P6, Edgar P7, Hamna Alcabizi P8, and Bustamante and Lovin Foss closing out those points positions.
So that's adjusted for a time penalty as well. So after that stall and the time penalty, Bustamante still managed to score some points. So pretty good recovery drive. We see the Rodin team, all hugs, smiles and kisses on their pit wall for their first checkered flag win of the season. Second win, but first checkered flag win.
Exactly, let's have a listen.
Great. What a perfect race. Thank you so much. Miami, baby!
Good job, very well done. Do the same tomorrow. Good start, well managed.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alfie, thank you, David. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Zimba, my family. It was good. Did it on track this time.
Miami, baby, indeed. What a result. I love that, the reminder on the radio. Yeah, if you could just do it tomorrow as well, that'd be wonderful.
I love the difference in emotions. They're so happy and elated, and the engineer goes, "Can you do it tomorrow, please?"
I'd be in the moment. But no, it is wonderful to see clearly Chloe Chambers there waving to her fans, who definitely gave her more than an extra 10th in performance this race weekend. I mean, you can't beat being on a podium on home soil. Fantastic first podium for Chloe Chambers, who is new to this season.
Yeah, we had some really good racing there. Had a good show of how to overtake. We had a good show of how to defend. And yeah, this Miami circuit actually showing us some really good racing, the long straights, tight corners, as we hear from Chambers.
Yes, come on, Chloe. Good job. So proud of you. Really good performance. You did all out of that. Really good job.
Oh, yeah. That was such a good race. I'm so happy with that. All I wanted was a podium finish at home. So, yeah, I'm really happy.
Well, you delivered, Chloe Chambers. The podium is what you got. And I mean, it's got to be, hasn't it, a favourite race here in front of the home crowd. We haven't heard on the team radio from Dorian Pan. I'd love to know how she's feeling at the moment. It was obviously a superb race from her, but she just couldn't quite match that performance of Abby Pulling.
No, she was just second best. Abby showed everybody today in qualifying and in the race. Won the race by over 5 seconds, so a real dominant performance there. So can't falter.
What's going to be really interesting is seeing what happens tomorrow, of course, because it's Abby Pulling in pole position again, but alongside her on the front row, it's Bianca Bustamante.
Yeah, she showed some really good pace and spirit to fight back and overtook a lot of people today, had some good pace. So yeah, it's going to be a different script tomorrow for sure.
Always good to see there. Good sportsmanship, quick shake of the hand over to the Rodin team, who have worked so hard with Abby and in that Alpine liveried car. A moment to very much be enjoyed here in Miami. But there's not too much time to enjoy it because they've got to do it all over again tomorrow.
Well, exactly as the engineer said, got to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, please, another podium. We've got all of it again, all the excitement again, as now the drivers will have to go and get weighed. There'll be a scale somewhere that weight gets added to the weight of the car. So the cars get weighed, drivers get weighed. As we see, a 5-second penalty for Vug for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So where's that going to drop her down to? She's currently finished 6th. So where will she end up? We'll wait and see in the final results, shall we, Nikki?
I think that's a wise idea. I'm not going to make any guesses until we hear it officially what position she's going to be in. Abby Pulling turned 21 since our last race out in Jeddah, which means she can now legally drink the champagne on the podium in America.
There you go. But
I don't know if she will, but...
as a lot of these racing drivers around the world, I remember growing up watching Sebastian Vettel, and he'd already won a Formula 1 World Championship, and he wasn't even allowed to hire a rental car yet, because he's not old enough. So I think that's the irony of the sport that we live in. You know, Max Verstappen was not even old enough to drive on the roads and was already winning Formula 1 races. So yeah, it's a crazy world. Younger and younger the drivers are getting day by day. So it's yes, exciting stuff. And as we see the big boss, get a photo of the big boss.
So we are going to hear from our top 3 drivers in a moment. Looking forward to hearing what Abby Pulling has got to say. So let's go down now to Ariana Bravo, who is going to be with our race winner, Abby Pulling.
Chloe, huge congratulations. You started down in P7, but here you are, podium finish. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy. Like, this was my goal coming in. I just wanted to get a podium at my home race. I'm super proud to represent the USA, so to put it up on the podium is a really good accomplishment, and I'm really proud.
Just talk us through how that race was for you, because, of course, having to make up several positions there. What was it like out there in these conditions as well? Super hot today.
Yeah, I mean, the track evolution, too, is a really big factor, so kind of adapting to the changing conditions was a real challenge, and yeah, it was a really eventful race for me. Started down in P7, but really happy to have been able to make up the positions and end up on the podium.
And a word for your home crowd?
Yeah, I mean, thank you to all the fans. I hope it was a good race. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I did the United States proud.
Congratulations, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dorian, congratulations. P2, talk us through that. How was that for you out there?
I think we take a good start, but obviously it's not where we want to be. We want to be P1, and we're going to focus on the race tomorrow. I think we missed something. I think we improved, but we definitely missed something to reach the P1. But yeah, let's focus on tomorrow now.
What did you feel like you were missing out there? Was it something in the car? Was it the conditions?
The track's improved for sure. I mean, driving after Formula 1, I think it's yeah, it's good. The tracks for sure get more grip, but no, I mean we have to look at through the data, and we for sure have to find some driving, but also something in the car for tomorrow.
And turning your attention to tomorrow, what are you going to be doing differently? Different starting position, of course.
I think the key for tomorrow is to take a good start first. We start P3, so we try to take a good start and get an advantage in the first lap, and then yeah, to find something, as I said, for an extra to have better pace, because we for sure miss something.
Well, congratulations on the P2 and good luck for tomorrow. Abby, congratulations. I mean, you meant business today when you went out and grabbed that double pole, and you've converted it. And I know this isn't your first technical win, but first to cross the line. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the moon, obviously. It was such a commanding victory. I can't thank Rotor Motorsport enough what they've, given me. And I'm just driving, what they've given me. And, I I'm just over the moon. You know, I wanted to do it on track. Obviously, last time it was decided elsewhere. So yeah, I had a point to prove this weekend, and I've done it finally.
You absolutely have. Now, yesterday you weren't even feeling 100%, but I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that today at all. Talk us through what it was like on track, because it was dominant. You crossed the line quite a little bit ahead of the others.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I wasn't feeling too well. It was not nice, to say the least, but we powered through. Fine today, thank God. But yeah, I was pushing for fastest lap to try and get the extra point. You know, want maximum points, but couldn't quite get it. Didn't have the toe, but still so happy.
Well, we go again tomorrow, and you start on pole again tomorrow. Is it going to be a repeat?
Hopefully. I mean, the one biggest mistake I made that whole race was the lock-up in turn 1. Just kind of overestimated the grip of the front right going into there. So who knows, but you know, anything can happen, but it's looking pretty good.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy this win, and all focus on tomorrow. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you so much.
Well, good to hear from our race winners. A triumphant Abby Pulling there, and feeling pretty confident that she can repeat her performance tomorrow, saying she's only really made one mistake in the whole race.
Yeah, and Dorian Pan, as we see here, she seemed quite dejected, actually. Head seemed a bit low, not much energy in her voice. So, yeah, she's going to have a long night looking at data, trying to work out to make the car faster, what she can change with her driving. Abby just needs to copy and paste tomorrow. It's easier said than done. We can sit here and say, just copy and paste, that's easy, but it's not. As we're now going to go towards the podium celebrations, first one of the weekend.
Yeah, a very special moment indeed. Of course, the first time F1 Academy has raced here on the streets of Miami. And also always good to have a resident, Chloe Chambers, on home soil up on the podium as well. But it will be a special moment for Abby Pulling, because this is her second season in F1 Academy, and it is the first time she will actually stand on the top step of the podium. So a very special moment for her, for Alpine, for Rodin, who have worked really hard to get her to this point. And I feel like it might not be the last time we see her on the top step of the podium this season. Now, we mentioned earlier that Maya Vug got a post-race penalty. Let's take a look at that incident that led to the 5-second penalty.
This is where she dived at the inside, 3 abreast, but then ran off the track, and they've deemed that's to overtaking, gain advantage. So she went in there in 3rd place out of the train and came out in 2nd. So obviously giving her a penalty there for running in too deep. Got the outside of the corner, and yeah, she's ended up in front. So 5 seconds. Yeah, potentially a little bit harsh, but also potentially fair. 5-second penalty, dropped her down the order.
Yeah, I'm sure Maya Vug will be a bit disheartened by that penalty, but also will be back tomorrow to fight at the top. Dorian Pat, as you mentioned, she did say at the start of the weekend that they were struggling a little bit with the car setup. So perhaps that could be the issue. But a 5-second gap between her and Abby Pulling just showed that she really didn't have the pace like we've seen previously in Jeddah. You know, it was a lot closer between Pulling and Pan. Pan obviously crossed the finish line first in both of the races in Jeddah, so it was Pulling that was on the back foot, but the roles have reversed here in Miami. So now they're going to jump aboard one of these cute little open top cars and get driven to the podium. Why walk when you can go in that?
This is the fanciest way to travel to a podium I've ever seen.
You're in Miami, darling. What do you expect?
Sorry.
And drivers don't walk to podiums nowadays, do they? But I like how Abby's got the, Pulling's got the pink car to go with the Alpine pink. I mean, it's...
Looking, it was planned.
Yeah, it's got the right Pantone. Is that the right word? So there they go. Off 1, 2, 3. I think Susie Wolf is amongst them as well. He will be part of the presentation on the podium. But it was an absolutely fantastic race. Let's remind ourselves of the final results, the classification of today's first race here in Miami. So Abby Pulling in P1, Dorian Pan alongside 5 seconds adrift in P2, Chloe Chambers in P3. Now, Nerea Marti fought hard against Alcobazi, but it all paid off. She finished in P4, Alcobazi just behind in P5. Maya Vug with that penalty in P6, Jess Edgar, P7 in the American Express car. Hamna Alcobazi, I think her best result of the season there with a P8. Bianca Bustamante managed to claw it back after not starting and stalling it on the start in a P9, and Lola Lovenfoss in P10. So just missing the points there, Emily De Hausch, Carrie Schreiner, Aurelia Nobles, Courtney Crone, the wildcard, and Leah Block, who had that big spin. Tina Hausman was out of the race. So there we have it. What a beautiful view of the track. The sun is still shining. And we will go racing again tomorrow. Hopefully the conditions have been the same, because there was a bit of rain earlier in the week, but we will be checking the weather. But of course, that Hard Rock Stadium down in the middle, that is the F1 paddock. I mean, what an incredible location to go racing at. The crowds have been supporting us throughout this whole race weekend, particularly, of course, the women, the girls. They've come to support the F1 Academy drivers, 16 of the best female talent coming up the ranks in motorsport.
So who's your pick for tomorrow's race then, Nikki?
Well, I mean, it's a bit predictable, but, you know, if I was a betting woman, which of course I'm not, I would have to go for Abby Pulling. You know, she did an absolutely phenomenal job in all the sessions this weekend, and then to be so ahead of Dorian Pan, I think it's going to be difficult for the fight to change tomorrow.
I'd like to argue with you. I think it'd be a short argument, but I think one to watch tomorrow is Bustamante. She had a great performance after her stall, but she starts higher up tomorrow with her second fastest lap time, so it'll be more in the mix. If she can get off the line, I think there might be a bit more going on at the front of the race tomorrow.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I think that's a good prediction there. Bianca Bustamante raced for Prema last season, so she does have a bit of experience here. She's had 2 wins and 2 podiums in F1 Academy. And yeah, but where's the papaya colours now? In McLaren. But these are our race winners, our podium finishers. Looking at some of the action here in the driver room. Let's have a listen in.
Is that all? I think that's a bit track limits there.
Oh, okay. That's why they said there's a front wing there. Somebody.
I didn't even get told there was a front wing. So no,
maybe they.
I didn't even see how that happened.
It's always interesting. They've never seen any of this, so they're seeing it for the first time.
No, because when we passed, he was not yellow.
Right. Oh.
So those drivers are now getting ready for the podium celebrations. Hopefully we will get them to see the spray of the champagne. But here's the celebration on track from Abby Pulling as she crosses the checkered flag for the first time. First here in Miami. Celebrations all round for the Rodin team. A bit of a wave to the crowd, taking it all in, and then she came over the team radio, absolutely pumped, so happy with her result, and did a big thank you to the team for putting in so much effort over the course of the weekend. I think she's a happy girl there.
She was happier than her engineer, that's for sure.
So another view there of the Miami circuit inside the track. Let's take a look at the podium celebrations with Charlotte Tilbury there on the right-hand side, who will be giving out the trophies. Chloe Chambers will be absolutely overjoyed for this moment. She set her target out at the start of the race weekend, and she delivered for the home crowd. We heard from Dorian Pan, a bit deflated after today's race, couldn't quite challenge Abby Pulling, but I know she will be determined to be back on top tomorrow and I'm sure has so much more to give. And then Abby Pulling, the driver of the moment, a double pole and her first win. So Charlotte Tilbury there, presenting Abby Pulling with her trophy. A very special moment indeed for the Rodin team, for Abby Pulling, and for young girls all around the world watching, because when you see it, you believe it. And now we can see these incredible drivers racing on the world stage here in Miami, and it's a very special moment indeed. Chloe Chambers' hat getting adrift there.
Congratulations, ladies. And now, let's celebrate!
But now it is time to spray the possibly champagne, I don't know.
Something fizzy.
Something fizzy indeed, yeah. What's the technique of doing that? You have to bang it on the floor to get the most
that's
bubbles.
the Lando Norris special,
Yeah,
that one,
exactly.
isn't it? I always find that wasted it, though. By the time you've smashed it on the ground and it's all fired out, there's nothing left to spray.
Well, there's going to be no rest for these guys. It'll be straight back to the garage, data analysis, and then, of course, we get to go racing all over again tomorrow. Will they have a moment of downtime or not really?
Yeah, they'll have a little bit of a chilled out evening, I would think. Get some good food, relax. I always found the hardest thing on the night, you know, after the race is just trying to switch your brain off so you can get a good night's sleep ahead of the race tomorrow.
I don't know how you can ever get a good night's sleep before a race. That must be the key to success, exactly. Well, there we have it. The third race of this second season of F1 Academy is wrapped up here in Miami, but we do go racing again tomorrow. 16 drivers will battle it out head-to-head around the Hard Rock Stadium. Could it be Abby Pulling again, or maybe Bustamante will challenge her for the top spot?